Arizona Cardinals, dominant win, 41-10 over the Los Angeles Rams. Cardinals move to 1-1. Rams fall to 0-2. Kyler Murray finishes 17 of 21 for 266 and 3 scores. Perhaps more importantly, Marvin Harrison Jr. showed up and played in a big way. 4 catches for $130, 2 touchdowns, and right off the bat, tried to answer some of the questions that we had coming out of a very quiet week 1.
Yeah, it was almost like this, sometimes it feels like the NFL is answering whatever the narrative was previously. It was almost like they were specifically out here to remind people that the best wide receiver prospect to come along in years is actually pretty good.
I actually love that about football, is that you have a week of build-up. You can actually scheme things up. You can actually say, we're going to prove to you that Marvin Harrison Jr. is good. Or we're just going to, not that they're doing that, but we're going to game plan in a way that uses his skills. Hits a deep post early, and then a scramble drill, 60-yarder. Kyler Murray, by every single measure, with one of the better games in recent history, just from a PFF standpoint, that'll be the case. From a QBR standpoint, that'll be the case. From an EPA standpoint, however you want to measure it, perfect passer rating, plus 59 rushing yards. I think that's the first time that's been done since 1974 for Kyler Murray. Everything about Arizona's offense was absolutely dominant.
Yeah, it really was. They were absolutely fantastic. Murray looks incredible. I mean, this is as good as he's ever played in the NFL. And remember, as good as he's ever played in the NFL is a pretty high bar. Like, the last couple of years with injury haven't been great, but Kyler Murray in his past has led the NFL in big-time throw rate. Like, this is a guy capable of genuinely spectacular play, and he looks like he's playing as well as he's ever played right now. Marvin Harrison, so it was an interesting game by him. It looked early that he was going to, break records. Like, he was the second leading receiver in the NFL after, the first few minutes of this game. Then nothing else for the rest of the game. Now, there were some targets in there, but he didn't increase that production. But the first play, he just cooked Tre'Davious White. And based off the last 2 weeks, Tre'Davious White may be done. That was rough from him. Remember, he got barbecued week 1 as well. The second one was a really nice adjustment where he's sort of running a deep over and then realizes, this play is not going to work where I'm running to. Adjust deep, and Murray sees him, hits him over the top. Amazing dive to turn that into a touchdown.
I thought he looked fast on that play when he turned on the jet. Just a long stride.
And then there was a really nice contested catch, kind of back shoulder thing. I think him and Kyler are not on the same page yet with those back shoulder plays. That one wasn't the greatest location in the world. Harrison won it, just took it away from the defensive back. But remember week 1, one of the misses was a miscommunication on the back shoulder.
Yeah.
There were a couple later in this game where they weren't quite where they needed to be. They're just not there yet in terms of being in sync on those. But obviously, it showed he can play at this level.
Two different things here. So I thought from a Rams perspective, their defensive tackles, their defensive line just got moved. Other than Jared Verse, by the way, through 2 weeks, Jared Verse is
really good,
looking very good for the Rams. But Kobe Turner and company, they got moved. So Arizona's offensive line played really well up front. Again, everything Arizona did offensively seemed to work. The one positive I would say for the Rams was Kyler had just indefensible plays.
Yeah.
Scramble plays. He, threw one up to Trey McBride in double coverage, which was up and away, in a spot where only he could catch it. There were some indefensible plays there. So it was from a Rams perspective, it was almost, it's not as bad as it seems, but it was, it's kind of both. But they're also in this potential spiral here. Cooper Kupp comes out injured.
Everybody hurt.
Puka Nakua's already hurt. They've already got this turnover on the offensive line. Stafford sacked 5 times. Unfortunately, Cooper Kupp is at that point in his career where every time he does something good, I'm worried that he's going to get hurt.
Yeah.
Every time he makes a move or creates a big play, I'm worried. But he left the locker room with a walking boot, so got to keep an eye on Cooper Kupp. And again, just from an Arizona perspective, James Conner ran well, offensive line, Kyler playing well, Marvin Harrison Jr., Trey McBride still being a monster as a tight end. Maybe I've underrated your Cardinals here this offseason, Sam.
Their offense just looks really, really good. It's going to be incredibly dangerous to deal with. This was not a close game. They got up early, they got up big, and the Rams never really showed any signs of getting back into it, albeit with, injuries just mounting up. Kyron Williams at one point was basically the only player they had remaining. Then Kyron Williams comes out of the game. Somehow Matthew Stafford was still left in there. But this also, by the way, this snapped a 9 straight sequence of the Rams winning in Arizona.
Really?
Yeah.
It's a different Cardinals team, man. Kyler looks as healthy. I mean, he looks the best he looks in years since that 21 season. That was one of my questions coming into the year. Will he ever get back to that? He looks like he's back to it.
Yep.
And from just a pure athleticism and movement perspective, I mean, night and day, I think, compared to last year, right? He's got those little scamper and run around plays when he needs them, right? When the times the other quarterbacks, we say, don't do that. With Kyler, you say, it's okay. He can do it because he creates off of those, and he's doing that right now, including making those big-time throws from the pocket as well. That makes Arizona extremely dangerous.
Yeah, I mean, Kyler Murray at his best is in that category of quarterbacks where you don't have an answer to everything he can do, and the Rams didn't. Like he played at that kind of level in this game, and that makes them incredibly difficult to deal with.